Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another retro game for you. So my son and I are going to play another 4th edition mission. This time we're going to look at the special missions, and we're playing one of my most favourite missions of all time, the rescue mission. So this should be a lot of fun. So slightly unplanned here. So we've got our normal army list that we were going to play, but we thought we'd just have a change around. So the rescue mission is, if you haven't heard of it, basically there's 6 objectives down on the table, these little rescue markers, and we're going to roll a dice in a minute, and one of these objective markers is going to be the one that we're going to get to try and look for. So it's numbered between 1 and 6 on each objective. We're going to roll a dice, and that's the one we're going to try and find. Now the objectives aren't turned up until an infantry model goes onto that objective. We turn it over. If it's not the number, it's disregarded. If it is the number, then we basically pick up that objective. Now you can, it's a bit like the relic, you can move and pass it to another model if you want to. Deployment wise, my son rolled to take the deployment edge first, and he chose to go in this corner. He could have gone on longboard edge, but he chose the corner, part of the rules. And you're only allowed to deploy troops. So he's deployed 2 scout squads and 2 tactical squads up over there. And I've deployed my defence line here. I've got my lock list tonight. I've got the Tervigon with the Tervigon tax, making him troops, and I've got a Venom Thropes there. Everything else has to be held in reserve, and we're going to use 4th edition reserve rules. So that will be a 4+ from turn 2, 3+ from turn 3, and a 2+ from turn 4. The rescue markers are here, 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 one over there, one over there, and there's one right over in the building there. It's going to be an interesting game. My son is using a couple of formations. He's using the librarian one and another one. What's the other one?
The Battle Company.
Battle Company one. It's got a couple of Vindicators, some more bikes in reserve, 2 drop pods, 1 with Centurions, 1 with Tacticals in. And in my lock list I have 2 more locks, a couple of pods, one with Termagants in, Devil Gants, and one with the Toxicrene in. I've also got some Gene Stealers with a Brood Lord. They're going to come on just normal reserves. So yeah, it's going to be a good game, I think. Okay, so we need to roll off and find out what objective number we're going to actually get. So let's do that now. So we're after number 6. So just put that there to remind us. And now we're going to roll off to see who goes first. Just get a dice. There you go. Right, okay, here we go. Rolled off. I've got another 6, 2 6s. Okay, so I think I'm going to go first, yeah. So it's going to be turn 1 for Tyranids then. More to come. Okay, so that's my turn 1. I also forgot to mention that I've got 2 Florents in reserve. I rolled their psychic powers. Both of those got Catalyst. The Warlord's got Paroxysm, and the other one's got Warp Blast. I've also got Catalyst on this guy here as well. So he gave Feel No Pain to himself and the Venom Thropes. I just basically moved and ran everything up. I did manage to spawn 8 Gants, but I rolled a double. So he's all spawned out for this game. And that was it. So pretty uneventful. But now it's Space Marines, turn 1. And let's get this one. Well, one of the drop pods will be coming down now. Okay, so that was Space Marines turn 1. Decided to bring the drop pod down right in the middle of the table. Have a go at see if that was the objective. Stood on it, and first time it's a 6. So that is the objectives. All the others now have disappeared. We're playing over that little counter there with that man holding it currently. The drop pod has a missile launcher on. Shot my Tervigon. Failed my 2+ cover save. But then also failed my Feel No Pain, so I took a wound from that. The other guy shot me here. 1 wound came through, but I managed to save it. All the other troopers just moved forward, heading towards the other objectives, but of course that's irrelevant now. It's all about that one there in the middle of the table. Okay, so now we're going to move on to turn 2 for Tyranids, and I've got the comms relay, so I'm hoping with the reroll of the reserves I'll be able to get most of my reserves out, but we'll have a look. Okay, so more to come in a minute. Okay, so that's my turn 2. I didn't start off too well. Didn't get either of the Flyrants out, the reroll on the 4, but I did get everything out. So all the nids came out apart from the 2 Flyrants. Harpy came on here, as you can see. Drops the Morlock here on this tactical squad. Scattered and landed on the scouts. Killed all of them apart from one. Managed to get down. He didn't take a morale check. Didn't run. This Morlock came on here. He scattered a couple of inches. I still managed to kill a couple of guys and get down. They also passed their check. Brought the pod down here with the Termagants. They got out there. Brought the Toxicrene down there with the pod. And basically I shot the Harpy, the Tervigon, Toxicrene, those guys there, and the 2 pods all at this unit here. Killed them all apart from the captain guy. He's on 2 wounds there. They passed both the pinning checks they had to take and also the morale checks. But they did of course drop the objectives. That's in the open there. Over this side of the table, the Gene Stealers and Broodlord came up on over there from reserve. Everything here is in 6 inches of the Venomthropes. The Tervigon gave himself and the Venomthropes feel no pain, and that whole blob basically just moved and ran forward. So that was my turn 2. Lots of nids on the table now, but of course it's Space Marines turn 2, and their reserves are coming in. More to come. Okay, so that was turn 2 there for the Space Marines. Most of their stuff came in, rolled really well on the reserve charts. Just 1 Vindicator and an Assault Squad that didn't come in. So these bikes came on there with the Scouts and the Speeder. Vindicator there. Jump Squad came on over there. The other pod came here with the Centurions in. Like about 1,000 different psychic powers down to the formation. He managed to basically, the key ones were that he got invisibility on that unit there, and also some ignore cover special rules as well. So you can see I've got a bit dent in my nids. First of all, this little grouplet here shot at my Morlock. I lost a couple of wounds, down to 4 wounds. A combination of the Flamer and the Centurion's bolt gun things shot me out here. So they went down, and they're running, just the last 5 guys they're running. Toxicrene took a wound, along with the drop pod being instant death from the Vindicator up over there. Over that side of the table, the Centurions grabbed weapons, and those Assault Marines took out the other Morlock that was just standing by those pillars. And that was it. So quite interesting round. Depleted in numbers, but I've got 2 Flyrants potentially coming in. Let's roll these now. So these come in on a 3+, and I can re-roll them because of my comms relay. So this is the Warlord. He's out, and the other one, he's out as well. Okay, so we're moving now to turn 3 for the Tyranids. Oh yes, and that little single guy that was left from the first initial squad, he went up onto the objective. We've changed that now to a proper objective rather than their little number 6. Okay, here we go then. Turn 3 for the Tyranids. Okay, so my turn 3. Both the Flyrants came on this time. Over this side of the table, I moved everything up. I managed to get Feel No Pain on the Tervigon and this front unit of Gantz. The Tervigon and Gantz shot out the guy that was on the objective, and he dropped it. The Gene Stealers moved up behind this building. The Flyrants came on here and here. These regrouped, they were in Snap's range. He gave Feel No Pain to himself and to these little guys. And this one here, he managed to get Feel No Pain on himself and on the Toxicrene. The Flyrant and Toxicrene shot at that group of guys there, got them down to 1 man. Tried to assault with the Toxicrene, rolled a 1-1, so I didn't even move. This Flyrant here, he shot the Assault Marines that were over there, killed all the Marines apart from the Librarian. He got down onto 1 wound. Then shot the Harpy's 2 blast templates on the Librarian, managed to kill him. Pretty useful, reducing the Psychic Powers abilities slightly. The pod shot at those guys and did a couple of scatters, got a wound through, but he saved them. And then this guy took a morale check here, and he was fine. And that was my turn 3. So now we're moving on to turn 3 for the Space Marines. Still got a couple of reserves to come, and that objective there, remember, can only be picked up by infantry. And I'm pretty sparse on infantry, really, to be fair. I mean, I've got obviously this massive blob here, but they've got a long way to go to get to the middle. So it's going to be an interesting game at the end here, I think. Okay, so turn 3 for the Space Marines. Okay, so turn 3 there for the Space Marines. All the reserves came on. The Vindicator came up over there, along with that assault squad there. Just ran behind the drop pod. Okay, so those guys there and the speeder shot these guys here. Even with my feel no pain, I didn't save anything, so just one Gantz left. The bikes, they had rending from the librarian from over there. Shot my Flyrant, didn't get one wound through. I didn't jinx, I took a chance on that. And then the Centurions, those guys there, the scouts, all shot at my Toxicrene. I did have feel no pain on him. I managed to survive with one wound left, which forced the Vindicators to shoot over here, and he managed to drop me, so I lost my Toxicrene. Over this side of the table, the scouts just moved up here and they shot my Harpy. Again, I didn't jinx, and I actually lost 2 wounds on that, so he's down to 3 wounds. But all my flyers are able to shoot normally next turn, so that's pretty useful. Okay, so we're moving on now to Tyranid turn 4. What I forgot to mention in the last video clip of my turn was that I did borrow the Morlock. So the Morlock's coming out this turn, and everything is now on the table. Okay, turn 4 for the Tyranids. Okay, so Tyranid turn 4. I had to make a bit of a stance there after the last round. So what I did is the Morlock came down. He actually went on those Centurions, did a huge scatter, 11 inches, and just landed there, so that's not good news for him, but there you go. The 2 Flyrants, however, did what they do best, and they basically moved one over there in the air, one over there in the air, went for the side arm of the Vindicators, and I managed to wreck both Vindicators, which was very, very useful. The Harpy came up over here, he did atrociously. Shot the 2 blast templates at those assault marines. I scattered with both, killed nothing. The drop pod, or the Tyrannocyte, moved up over here. He got feel no pain from that Flyrant, and that Flyrant obviously had feel no pain. He did try to do warp blast and paroxysm, but he failed both of those. However, the guns here managed to shoot out a couple of bikes, which is again quite useful. Over this side of the table, I'd moved, the whole blob moved and ran up towards the centre of the board there, just making a big play for the objective. The Tervigon moved up behind this little pillar, and then shot the scouts, killed a couple of scouts, decided not to assault because, yeah, there's those Centurions down there, so he's nicely hiding behind that huge obelisk. The speeder, he took a whole point from a scattering venom cannon. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We are now looking at turn 4 for the Space Marines, and it's now time to see what these Centurions will do next. Okay, so turn 4 there for the Space Marines. So all these guys moved up here. They shot my Morlock along with the Centurions, took out the Morlock. This single guy here took out the last Termagant that were just hanging around. Drop pods shot my Flyrant, no wounds. And then over here I got some shots coming in from the Assault Marines. Lost a few guys, they assaulted me. I lost about 5 in the assault, just locked in combat. Now this could be a bit of a killer for me because my other infantry units are now blocked from getting anywhere near the objective. So that was a good move there from the Space Marines, tying me up and also blocking my path. As we move in to turn 5 for the Tyranids. Now this is a 6-turn mission, so yeah, 2 more turns left. Okay, so turn 5 for me. Main objective was to stop those Centurions getting onto the objective. So I landed the Harpy, and he's used his big base there to stop them getting in. I've landed both the Flyrants, because if the game continues I might need a Flyrant to do exactly the same the next turn. I shot both the Flyrants at the Centurion squad. I got a wound off of this Centurion and a wound off of Tigerius. The drop pod shot the bikes. I killed one bike. And then over that side of the table there, the Tervigon took out the scouts. He just consolidated in the assault. And over here I killed another Marine. I lost another 5 Gants. Still got about 17 Gants left. They had Feel No Pain along with the Flyrant. That Flyrant and the pod have Feel No Pain, and the Harpy have Feel No Pain. I did try to get Warp Blast off and also Paroxysm, but I failed both of them. Okay, so that's what happened then, and now we're going to move on to turn 5 for the Space Marines. Okay, so turn 5 there for the Space Marines, and the power of the Centurions coming into effect. Did some split firing. Just one Centurion needed to take out my Flyrant over there, even with Feel No Pain. And then the rest of the guys shot at this Flyrant, got him down to 1 wound. I was assaulted by the Marines and the Scouts. I killed a couple of the Marines, but I didn't wound very well. No wounds back on me. I did sweep both units, and they just became fearless, of course. Over this side of the table, this single speeder, he took out my Harpy with absolutely no problems at all. The bikes shot my pod along with the Scout and this Marine. No wounds. These two tried to assault me, but they were just out of range. Over here, I lost 1 Gant. I didn't kill any Marines. We just locked in combat. So the objective is still sitting there. No one on it as we approach turn 6, the last turn. Okay, here we go then. Turn 6 for the Tyranids. Okay, so my turn 6, the last turn. So the small little unit of 8 Gants that were just around this area managed to squeeze past the assault. There's just enough room, and I managed to get onto the objective with those little 8 Gants. The Gene Stealers assaulted the Marines that were there along with the Tervigon, assaulted them in the back. I managed to win that assault, and I've consolidated. The Brood Lord managed to do the horror on the Centurions, pinning them, which was pretty useful. Before that though, I did Paroxysm from that Flyrant onto them, made them -1 ballistic skill, stroke weapon skill. And then over this side of the table, the pod just moved up to try to shoot those, did no damage. That was pretty much it. So as it stands, I'm currently on the objective. It's just a case of whether the Marines are going to be able to shoot me off. So it's either going to be my game or a draw. But we'll see what happens. Turn 6, the last turn for the Space Marines. Okay, turn 6, the last turn for the Marines. And even though these were pinned, they all successfully took me off of that objective with the pods shooting in and everything. So the game ends with no one on the objective. It is a draw. Great game though, that was a fun game. I think the dynamics of the game changed. Obviously the fact that the first objective was turned and it was the main one right in the middle of the table as well. On another day that wouldn't have been the objective, and we would have been picking up all the objectives and, you know, eventually found it maybe at the end of the game. So you never know with that mission. It's quite an interesting one, and every time you play it it's always a bit different. Okay, so that is the game over. Hopefully you enjoyed the battle report. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.